Okay, well, Matt Santoro's dead, so government, I don't have to pay taxes. He doesn't have to pay taxes anymore because he's gone. I screwed this up. Rumors and conspiracy theories regarding celebrity deaths have been around for a long time. But while many of those are baseless, the following cases have enough compelling evidence to suggest that these people's deaths may not have only been a hoax, but some of them may still be alive. Here are 10 people who may have faked their own deaths. Number 10 is Jesse James. If anyone had reason to fake their own death, it was the notorious outlaw Jesse James. Supposedly shot in the back by Robert Ford on April 3, 1882, he became famous at the age of 22 for killing a cashier while robbing Davies County Savings Association Bank in Missouri. This is what began his 12-year run robbing banks, stagecoaches, and trains. The public followed his exploits across the Midwest and even rooted for him after Pinkerton agents killed his 8-year-old brother and maimed his mother in a botched raid. There have been persistent rumors that Jesse James faked his own death with the help of the traitorous Robert Ford. So, in 1995, his coffin was exhumed and his body was examined, but it was determined that the remains were at the very least a close cousin, but not verifiably James. Just to be clear, so no one digs up my coffin and I can just rest peacefully, I am not actually half whale, so no need to examine my body. Not, oh, half whale, just a name. Okay, moving on. Number 9 is Amelia Earhart. Famed female aviator Amelia Earhart captured the world's imagination flying around the world, breaking barriers in aviation and gender boundaries. She was last seen on June 2, 1937 in Papua New Guinea, refueling her plane with navigator Fred Noonan before finally flying to the tiny Howland Island 4,000 kilometers away. Earhart and Noonan likely ran out of fuel or had mechanical errors and crashed into the Pacific, but some speculate that they were executed as spies by the Japanese from photographic evidence of them on a Japanese military dock. But Amelia may have faked her own death to escape her fame and elope with Noonan, her rumored lover. But the craziest thing is that it's alleged that she assumed the low-key identity of a New Jersey banker named Irene Craigmile Bolam. Well, if she did want to lay low, a banker would be a great job because that is the most boring thing in the world and no one's looking into that. Number 8 is James Dean. James Dean's death on September 30th, 1955, behind the wheel of his Porsche 550 Spyder, is one of Hollywood's biggest tragedies. He was just 24 years old when East of Eden was released, and Rebel Without a Cause was due to be released just a month later. Conspiracies abound about what actually happened to him, who raced cars in his free time, with evidence that Dean was driving safely at a much lower speed than reported. In addition, damage to his car, nicknamed Little Bastard, was too light to cause a broken neck and internal bleeding. With all these conspiracy theories, you're tearing me apart! That's from one of his movies. Most of you are way too young to know that. So, anyway, moving on. Number 7 is Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was the blonde bombshell icon who was found dead in her Los Angeles home on August 5th, 1962 from a Nembutal overdose. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, she broke hearts, including President John F. Kennedy. She also upset the First Lady when she sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" just 2.5 months before her death. Now, it's known that Monroe had mental health issues related to her fame and may have checked out, not with suicide, but faking her own death. John Alexander Baker claims in his book, Marilyn Monroe, Alive in 1984, that he picked up a homeless, paranoid, schizophrenic Marilyn in Nova Scotia, Canada, when she escaped a mental ward in New Brunswick. Well, she was born in 1926, which would make her around 92 today, so if you see a really pretty 92-year-old being like, "The government!" that might be her. Number 6 is Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was the Lizard King and could do anything, perhaps even faking his own death. The Doors singer was found dead from heart failure in the bathtub of his Paris apartment on July 3rd, 1971, by his heroin-addicted girlfriend, Pamela Courson. By the time the Doors manager, Bill Siddons, arrived, Morrison's death certificate was signed and his coffin sealed because Courson lied to the American embassy that Jim had no family. So because of that, no questions were asked and no autopsy was performed. But the coffin's contents were unverified, but still buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris on July 7th, 1971. But Morrison had discussed faking his own death as a publicity stunt and even planned to disappear in Africa under the anagram of his name, Mr. Mojo Rising. Is that an inconspicuous name? Mr. Mojo Rising? That's like me changing my name to Princess Banana Hammock. People might pay attention. Number 5 is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee remains an enduring icon of martial arts who trumps Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Chuck Norris. Okay, maybe not Chuck Norris. Please don't come for me, Chuck. Bruce Lee died on July 20th, 1973 in Hong Kong at the age of 32 from an acute cerebral edema and prescribed medication he had a bad reaction to. But how could a man who was so young and so insanely fit that he could break boards with his bare hands and take on an entire dojo of street toughs die of a little brain swelling? There are pictures of Bruce Lee relaxing in a coffin, and later his coffin lid had to be replaced, making people wonder if he kicked it off so he could escape. There have even been Bruce Lee sightings around the world in shopping malls, driving taxis, and eating in a Chinese restaurant in his hometown of San Francisco. All I've ever wanted to do was make a kung fu movie and be as cool as Bruce Lee. Perhaps one day I can do it. Bah. Number 4 is Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley popularized rock music with his sultry looks, baritone voice, and hip-shaking swagger. But sadly, the king died of a heart attack on August 16, 1977, on the toilet of his Memphis, Tennessee Graceland mansion. But since Elvis's death, the conspiracy that he faked it is so rabid, there was an Elvis is Alive museum in Wright City, Missouri. But since his death, Elvis has been seen all over the world, in a California grocery store, in the airport scene in the 1990 classic film Home Alone, and even in Chernobyl before the nuclear meltdown in 1986. One reason many speculate that Elvis may have actually faked his own death was that he joined the Witness Protection Program after infiltrating a gang of racketeers called the Fraternity for the FBI, an organization that he publicly praised. Can I get a donut? Oh, no, sorry, I'm not Elvis. I just want a donut. Sorry, did I give it away? Number 3 is Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman's comedy routines went the opposite direction of the standard setup punchline as he took his audience on an emotional roller coaster ride. His routines were complex, like abusive lounge act Tony Clifton, a wrestler who only fought women, and Foreign Man, who butchered his act to unite his audience with flawless Elvis impressions. When he died on May 16, 1984 at 35 years old, it seemed like classic Kaufman that he would one day resurrect with his famous tagline, "Thank you very much." Many of Kaufman's closest confidants, including his own brother Michael and collaborator Bob Zmuda, who wrote The Truth Finally, fed this conspiracy. Well, if he does come back, I'll be super stoked because here he comes to save the day! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Too kind. Yeah. Number 2 is Kurt Cobain. The Nirvana frontman is part of the exclusive club of rockers who died at the age of 27 when he shot himself in his Seattle home on April 5th, 1994. Cobain was as troubled as he was talented, with a crippling heroin addiction and a tumultuous relationship with his girlfriend Courtney Love. Kurt had a complicated relationship with fame and would rather Nirvana had been just a local Seattle band. The evidence at the scene of the crime was minimal, with a single picture of the body, no fingerprints, and no media at the funeral. Well, it's time to break out your best flannel shirt because Kurt Cobain may have reappeared in 2012 as singer Ramiro Saavedra performing a perfect Come As You Are cover on Peruvian TV talent show Yo Soy, but played his guitar right-handed. Well, this is all up in the air, but one thing we definitely do know is that Courtney Love is a little bit a little out there, you know what I'm saying? So there's no debating that. And number 1 is Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur was only 25 when he died, but left a huge cultural impact with his music, acting, and thug life mantra. He was allegedly shot in a drive-by on the Las Vegas Strip and died of internal bleeding on September 13th, 1996. There are countless conspiracy theories why he was killed, including West Coast, East Coast rap beef, Suge Knight orchestrating it, and the FBI snuffing out his dangerous ideas. Conspiracies that Tupac faked his own death are equally fervent because his lyrics predicted his murder, and he assumed the moniker Machiavelli, named after the 15th century prince whisperer who wrote, "To fool one's enemies, fake one's death." One theory is that Tupac is alive and well in Cuba with his Black Panther aunt Assata Shakur, who has political asylum there. But seriously, even if you don't believe all that, Google the 7-day theory Tupac. You'll see some crazy stuff. So that was 10 people who may have faked their own deaths. But if you enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up. I very much appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications by clicking the bell beside the subscribe button so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I'm not dead. Or am I?